I watched the first Inside Out on a plane. The movie is ending. Some really nice flight attendant comes by and she's like, "Are you okay? Are you in duress?" And I'm like, "No, girl, it's just the Inside Out got me."
Yeah, no, I got,
ma'am.
Are there any in-flight cookies also, please?
Come on,
I would love another
can I
one.
get extra?
Yeah.
Because Pixar shot me.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm Sam Sanders. Thanks for checking out my show. This week, we are talking therapy with someone who plays a therapist on TV, someone you know and have perhaps been watching and listening to for a very long time now. I know I have. I am talking about the one and only Jessica Williams. You've heard her on Two Dope Queens. You've seen her on The Daily Show and in one of the best seasons of TV ever, Love Life Season 2.
Yeah, thank you.
Come on.
Thank you.
I could go on, but I won't. Jessica Williams, welcome to the show.
Thank you very much. I appreciate
Air horn,
it.
put it in post.
Yes, no,
yes.
just keep that. That's like, it happened in real
That's
time.
I'm so happy you're here.
Thank you, me too. I'm
I
excited.
was telling you earlier, I was this morning getting ready, playing an old episode of Two Dope Queens. And I was like, oh, you've been sustaining me for close to a decade.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Will we get another podcast from you someday?
Yeah, maybe.
Oh,
well,
yeah.
the thing is, it's like when I was a Daily Show correspondent for a while.
Yeah.
When you're a correspondent, you're podcasting. Like, I don't know if it's hard to get people to also see you as an actor because podcasting is such a big business. It's also like a full-time job these days, right? Like,
Yeah.
it's like a lot of work and a lot of like, to make a good one, a lot of time goes into it. And so for me, as like, I started as an actor and I always want to be an actor. And so I had to like take a leap and focus just on acting and be like, that's what I'm going to do.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And it worked.
Yeah,
There was
thank
an
you.
Emmy nomination for your work on Shrinking,
Yeah.
a show all about therapy, which we're going to talk about. And to get ready for this conversation about your role in the show about therapy, I dress like a therapist.
You did. You look so cozy.
So I was thinking about how to start this conversation, and I was like, oh, Jessica has a really unique experience that could be helpful to a lot of listeners right now. You know, I was watching you in Shrinking and saying, oh, this must have taught you a lot about therapy and mental health because you play a therapist. And then I kept thinking about how earlier in your career, you were on The Daily Show for years, helping people think about politics. And I was like, oh, more than most actors in this business, you are really well suited to offer people some advice right now. Because I think, and what I'm hearing from people I know is like, a lot of folks have been going to their therapist since November with a bunch of hard questions about politics and how to deal with it and talk about it or not talk about it. How do you think about that with the experience of someone who has both played a therapist and talked about politics in front of the whole country?
Well, first of all, I don't know if Shrinking taught me anything about therapy only because I've been doing it for like 12 years on my own.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I understand, like, I mean, the biggest thing about playing Gaby is I think the creators wanted her, whoever they casted, they wanted her to be like a therapist where you look at her clothes and you're like, where did she get that?
Yeah.
And then someone who felt very warm and like someone whose office was really colorful and stuff. And so for me, playing Gaby, it was like, okay, I'm going to like, I have to be the most present for Gaby, you know, in every scene.
Yeah.
And then, and always like when I get cast in things, I'm usually a teacher.
Really?
I play teachers in 75%
You know what?
of
You're
the
right.
roles. Yeah.
What's that
more or
about,
less.
you think?
It's about that sort of advice. Like, I think because I did The Daily Show and I did podcasting. Yeah. Like, and then I think Shrinking is just another like form of that,
You
playing a
become
therapist.
trusted voice.
I guess so, which is funny. I think people want me to teach their white kids. Like, I've always been a teacher. Like, it's so
That's
funny.
wild now that I think about it.
Yeah, it's really funny. And so, you know, it's sometimes, you know, you look at the parts that actors play and you can actually learn a lot about an actor.
Yeah.
You can see what they're working through, especially if the actors that are at the top, the roles that they choose, that's what they responded to when they look at all these scripts. And you see that they're working through something therapeutically. Like, is the actor like Tom Cruise where they're like, I have to save the world? You know, it's like, I'm going to save the world.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, is it like, what is
What
it?
are you
What's this
compensating
person
for?
saying?
Yeah.
Maybe. I mean, I don't
Yeah.
know. It's like, I've never been like, I mean, he's like the actual biggest movie star, you know, in the world. And I don't know, like, you know, and then you're like, well, what is that like? You know, okay, so he's going to do Mission Impossibles and he's going to do that. And you're like, okay, like,
that's his life.
that's your life, you know? But like for me, with that, I mean, before The Daily Show is actually where I probably learned the most because when I got that job, I was like 22. And I did it for 5 years. Yeah, I did it for
Oh,
5 years, 22 to 27. And that's like a
wow.
time where you can go to grad school, you get
Mm-hmm.
your first job like out of college and
Mm-hmm.
or something like that or whatever. You learn
Mm-hmm.
so much in that time period and for especially like politically.
Mm-hmm.
And so I learned so much at that job about like, it's like John says, like, we're serious people doing something funny, making
Which is
fun of
hard.
politics, which is unserious people doing like something. I don't know. I biffed that. Something like that. Just Google the Jon Stewart, like serious people doing something funny quotes. And anyway, so it's that we're like giving people vegetables, but they think it's dessert, but then also towing the line of like not being self-righteous and not being
Mm-hmm.
preachy. Like you're supposed to really care and you're supposed to really hold the people in charge accountable for,
Mm-hmm.
what they say, what they do,
Mm-hmm.
how they treat others. We're supposed to
Mm-hmm.
look out for one another,
Yeah.
be kind and respectful at the end of the day and not punch down, not be mean, don't bully,
Yeah.
those
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 lessons.
facets that make a democratic society successful, those are really important.
Yeah.
And so the Daily Show really taught me that, but it also taught me like, don't be self-righteous because you have to, then
Yeah.
you're operating from a space of
Yeah.
like, you can't reach people like
Yeah.
that.
Well, and it feels like there is, and I've talked about this before on this show, there's a strain of self-righteousness
Yeah,
in
of course.
comedy
Of course.
on both sides.
But that's the thing I was talking about. It's like with the Daily Show,
Mm-hmm.
it's like, John's like, okay, but this needs to be funny.
Yes.
Like I would
If I'm not laughing, it's not comedy.
that's right. If you're not laughing, it's not going
Yeah.
on,
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so that was like
Yeah.
how I cut my teeth of like,
Mhm.
you always need to make sure it's funny.
Yeah.
Even though you're like so worked up, that's good. Like
Yes.
you should be moved.
But harness that.
Harness it
Because
and
it
then
needs
make
to
it
end with the
funny.
punchline.
100%. I mean, I guess you could just be whatever comedian you want, but
Yeah.
if you want to like reach
You want
more
me to
people,
laugh at it? I
if
want a
you want Sam
joke.
Sanders to laugh at it, like
Yeah.
tell a joke.
Call
But
me
yes,
crazy. Jokes
it's-
end with punchlines.
Yes,
Yeah.
it's really hard to
Yeah.
like not be so self-serious.
Oh, well, this is the thing. And I think, and part of that, what I'm trying to do is like say to myself, in this moment where it feels like there's pressure to only perform one kind of emotion online,
Mm,
it's important to show all of my emotions.
mm.
I can be sad on the internet, I can be happy, and I can say this is all part of me. I don't want to be the person who's always just angry about everything. I don't want to be the person who's always toxically optimistic. It's like, oh, no, there's a whole range. Have
I
you seen
agree.
Inside Out? There's like several little
Oh my God, they all
emotional.
mix together. It's like
they
the
all ride in
best
the car
thing.
together.
God,
Yes.
what
Yeah.
great couple movies. Like those
know.
those are really
I'm afraid
like,
to watch the second
me
one.
too. I haven't seen it yet for
'Cause I'm
that
gonna
reason.
cry.
I'm just gonna weep.
I watched the first one. I watched
Yeah.
the first Inside Out on a plane,
Uh-huh.
which makes you more prone to cry anyway
Oh, of
because
course,
the
you're
air
in the
pressure.
tunnel sky. Yeah.
The movie is ending. Some really nice flight attendant comes by and she's like, "Are you okay? Are you in duress?" And I'm like, "No, girl, it's just Inside Out got me.
Yeah.
It got me.
No, I
on
got
this
ma'am.
plane. I got
I got
got. I
got.
got.
Are there any in-flight cookies also, please?
Come
'Cause
on.
I would love
Can
another
I get
one.
extra?
Yeah.
Because Pixar shot me.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
I totally get that. Of like, it is important. We contain multitudes.
Yes.
And I was saying like, it's nice that people are like getting angry and like they're getting like as they should be about a lot of things in this
Yeah.
country. But I was like, Black people, we've been mad for a long
Can
time.
I tell you?
Like you have to
Yes.
live with it.
Yes.
We have to live with it.
Well, and like whenever
yeah.
I talk with a Black person in my life who is older, whenever I want to complain about anything, before I know it, my Aunt Betty's like, "Well, I remember when there were the dogs.
Yeah.
I remember when there were the separate water
Yeah,
fountains."
I got chills. Yeah. Yeah.
I was in Alabama with my
Mm.
Aunt Betty over Thanksgiving. That's where my mom's side of the family all grew up.
Mm.
And she took me by their childhood homes. And then she was like, "Yeah, that's the school that we integrated. They marched over there." And I was like, "I've never asked you this, but like, y'all were doing the separate water fountains?" She was like, "Oh, yeah."
Mm.
And she told me about when they integrated, she was just bold and nosy, and she would like end up at her white friends' houses. And she's like, "I didn't realize it was dangerous till I was grown."
Wow.
And I'm like, "Oh, shit." I'm like,
Wow.
"Oh, like, whatever I'm complaining about,
I know.
whatever I'm complaining
I
about."
know.
You
Well,
know?
then sometimes that's why it makes me mad when like people have that coolness about politics where they're like, it doesn't matter. Like,
It actually does.
and it makes
It mattered
just
for
makes
her.
my blood
It mattered for all
boil.
of
I
us.
can't like,
Yeah.
and then at the end of the day, it's not up to me to dictate how everyone lives their lives, right? But I still have a reaction to it, like
Mhm.
that. I'm just like, oh my gosh, like it matters. Like
It
my
matters.
ancestors, it matters. Like I
yeah.
have to like
Oh, yeah.
vote, and like just for that reason of like, you guys think that Black people that have managed to make it to the polls, like in spite of like, all of the disenfranchisement that we've had for decades, like, do you think we're voting because there's like perfect candidates that we're voting for?
Yeah.
Do you think we're like, oh yes, 100% for Black
that
people,
one.
even though we have the private prison system and and all this stuff I'm mad about? Do you think that's like why we're voting?
Well, it's also when do I in my normal everyday life make a choice only for the perfect thing?
Never. It doesn't even work. Even when you fall in love and you do marriage counseling,
perfect.
what you learn is that you're not like there's like, what is it, billions, right? Billions of people like on this planet that like you, in theory, in every culture, you probably have like, to me, you probably have like 100,000 soulmates that if you met them, you'd be like, this is the combination. Our pheromones are matching. Like, this is the person, But we live in these small, like, Sims worlds where we're, like, bumping into the same people. But we don't.
People.
The
on
world
every
is so
app.
big. The world is so big, right?
Yeah.
It's like, anything is possible. Like, but it's like, that's even that's not going to be perfect. You have work to do. Once you get married, it's the beginning. Or you choose a partnership, or you're poly, or whatever. If you want to maintain relationships with your friends, your family, like forever until we die, you got work to do. Like, it's just, nothing is ever perfect, ever.
Hey, thank y'all so much for checking out the show. If you like what you're hearing, what you're seeing, I'm going to tell you a little secret. There's more. There is a newsletter that goes along with this show, and I write it myself every week. I talk about what I'm watching, what I'm reading, what I'm loving, what I'm hating. There's the occasional personal essay. There are recommendations. It's pretty good, if I do say so myself. I would love to send my newsletter to you every week. You can sign up for it. Just go to kcrw.com/Sam Sanders. It's kcrw.com/Sam Sanders. Sign up for the newsletter. From my heart to yours. I'll see you in the inboxes.
I want to talk about Gaby.
Yeah.
This role you play on Shrinking. I mean, the show Shrinking is all about therapy, therapists working through life stuff, real stuff, and also navigating their relationships with each other. I don't want to give too much away. Just watch the show. But tell folks who your character is, Gaby.
Yeah, I play on Shrinking. I play Gaby, and she is a therapist, Black therapist, and it's kind of, Shrinking's like, it's kind of a hangout show where you're just watching these people like be in houses.
Very nice houses.
Yeah, it's
very
like,
cute houses.
Yeah, it's like a bright, like a bright hangout show.
Yes.
It's like not a cool show. It's like an earnest show, and I love it. I like earnestness.
Yeah.
And so it's a show about this guy played by Jason Segel who loses his wife in a car accident very suddenly, and he's a therapist, and Gaby works with him, and this kind of founding father of CBT therapy. His name's Paul.
Therapy.
Yeah. His name's Paul, and he's played by Harrison Ford, and it's about this guy working through his grief and his loved ones around him, and it's about found family, which I like. And basically, I play Gaby, and initially when I was approached, when I had my meeting for the show, I had a Zoom with Brett Golds. Brett wasn't on that call, but I had a Zoom with Bill Lawrence, the show creator, Jason Segel, and Neil, who's our showrunner, and they said with Gaby, they wanted to tailor her to the actress that played her, and they wanted her to balance out Harrison Ford's character, who's kind of a grump, and Jason Segel's character, who's mourning, he's grieving, and so she needed to be this bright warmth in the office, and that they were gonna, we were gonna figure it out throughout the season. And Bill, the creation of Gaby, it was due to beautiful writing and to great directing, and then me improvising a lot and finding things about Gaby along the way, and the writers saying that's okay to do that, and then writing to that.
Yeah, that's what I loved. And I could tell from the very start of watching the show that, like, half, if not more, of what this role was going to be was just going to come right from you, not from the writer's room. And there was this moment that you've talked about before in interviews in the pilot. Jason Segel's character, a therapist, has taken one of his clients, a young black man, to an MMA fighting gym to work off some anger. He gets back to the office, proud of what he's done, and then you say to him, as Gaby, the black woman therapist, you really thought it was appropriate to take this young man with anger issues to go fight
Yeah.
in this cultural
Let's
environment?
take a young black man to go fight in this cultural environment, you know?
And that was a line that you wrote on the fly.
Yeah.
It wasn't given to you.
No, I think it was like you thought that was okay. Something like that. Very
Yeah.
similar.
Yeah.
But then I think I added young black man and then in this cultural environment. And that's a very like product of the Daily Show, Two Dope Queens, you know, personally. That's a very that
more.
that sometimes I see it sometimes I see timing as a melody. Like
Okay.
like I see it like this is gonna sound. I hate talking
I
about
want
acting because I'm gonna
this.
sound like an asshole.
I want it.
I really like timing.
Yes.
I like it.
Yes.
I get off on it. I watch everything. Like I think everything's funny. Like I like fart jokes, and
Okay.
but I also will like Veep. Like Veep.
Oh,
Like
Veep.
Julia Louis-Dreyfus is always who I'm
All hits,
chasing.
no skips. Yeah.
I'm always chasing her.
Yeah.
She's always reacting. Her timing's insane.
The things her
and
eyes do.
That's it.
Just her
That's
eyes.
it. She's like, and like just everything about her is like, I'm like, that's what I want. And so anyway, but she's timing, but the jokes, what I learned on the Daily Show, that's what was really drilled into me actually was timing. And you can rearrange a joke just simply from changing a word at the end of the sentence to the front of the sentence. And so I kind of see it as like a melody, like, yeah. So for that's like a Daily Show. Like I almost see it as like, it's like you took, a young black man to go do the thing the writers wrote in this environment. So it's like this sort of, yeah.
And it's
so then
lyrical.
it's like really quick. It is lyrical.
Yeah.
And that was my first scene that I did. And
Really?
I was, and it was with Jason, and that was great because he's such a warm actor and he's so fast. Like he's
very
sees
yes
it.
and.
He's very yes and. And that's if you've got a white guy that's number one on the call sheet, if they're gonna yes and, you're like, I love this cracker. Like, what is it? Like, not him a cracker, but I mean, I meant the Eddie Murphy.
I wasn't gonna stop
I meant
you.
the Eddie Murphy joke where he's like, is this saltine? But all right, that's fine. I'll keep it. But
Keep it.
I promise you,
Typo when
I
it
did not
stays.
call him a cracker.
Typo
but I was
when
just
it
like,
stays.
just know I was doing an Eddie Murphy and Raw impression, and he goes, that's saltine. And he's talking about crackers. Oh, like that lets me eat. Like let her cook. Like I'm gonna eat.
Yes.
Like, and so
yeah.
when I play her, it's like, I'm not thinking about being a good therapist. I'm thinking about being a warm, welcoming, inviting person. When I play her, like to play Gaby, it's like being present. It's in doing lyrical lines. It's like committing to the writing and committing to the story. And my only job for her is to feel my emotions because she wears her emotions. You know what's happening. She's not someone who's like
She gonna tell
playing
you.
their car. Like I think with Harrison, like you're like, I wonder what he's working through with, Julie, played by Wendy Malick, who, is his girlfriend, partner, and he goes through a lot with her this season. But for me, you don't know until he says what he's thinking. He's a steel trap. He's a fortress of solitude. Gaby, you know what's happening, right?
Well, and like her whole presentation is like,
here's what's going
here
on.
it is. Like the first scene, hot pink pants.
For sure. She's like, sis. She's like, look, sis. Like, she's like, that. She's the friend you want.
And you've talked about this before as well. You are giving yourself space to be a lyrical actress. You're giving yourself space to but you're also in this environment where your character is a black woman who needs to talk about black woman things when it matters. And the people in charge of the show are not black women.
That's right.
And you've talked about
That's
having
right.
to say to them, some of this stuff you won't know, but trust me.
100%.
How did that work? I'm very
It's
intrigued.
nice. They're all sweeties, like for the most part. Like Brett Goldstein and Jason, especially both of them. They're both like, I think Lukita calls them soft sad boys. Like they're both that. So they're like sweet, like just sweet. Like you're like, oh, I think I have a cavity because you're like sweet. And so that's like they are like, you do. And Brett's like, yeah. Like, he has that vibe of like, yeah, do the thing.
Yeah.
And so that's nice. They're just not, there's no notes. It's like, just go. And for Bill Lawrence, when we first started, he was like, look, like my job is to make sure that like you have, I give you the presentation of this character and then at some point in the season, it turns over to you, and I'm asking you about the character. That's what he said he wanted, and he wanted
Yeah.
that for all the actors.
Yeah.
And there was that handoff. It was like a handoff that he said that he wanted in the
Yeah.
beginning that really stuck with me.
Yeah.
And as a white guy, that's like what we need in the space. If you're going to be like the guy in charge making 6,000 shows,
Come on.
it's great if you hire like an Asian actor, Japanese actor. If you say yes, you interview them,
Mm-hmm.
you find out their personality, you talk to
Mhm.
them. If you say yes, like trust them.
Yeah.
Because you have like wisdom is knowing that you actually don't know anything. You don't.
You're just dropping nuggets this
Oh, that's
episode. I
thank
love
you.
it.
No,
Yeah.
but wisdom is knowing you know nothing. I
Mhm.
cannot speak to like we have things in common, but I
Yeah.
can never begin to think about your experience of like your inner world because you contain multitudes. It's not my job to know that.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's not my place to cap your creative, what
Yeah.
you have to say.
Yeah.
And so if I say yes, if I hire someone,
Mhm.
I need to give them room to fly and contribute because
There you
now
go.
we're making something.
Together.
And yeah, that's like the joy of creating is
Yeah.
like we're doing this. Like I love how you talk to everybody here in the recording, but like I feel like you guys are all doing it. Like
Aw.
why are we like, you hear about actors that, storm in somewhere, they're
Oh my
like, don't
gosh.
make eye contact with me, or they're throwing fits. And it's like, one, you don't have to do this job, first of all.
You chose.
We're playing make-believe for money. Like you're being wild
You
right
picked
now.
this. Yeah.
100%. You could
Yeah.
be at home, you can get any other job.
Yeah.
Two, you're missing like connection.
Yes.
And that,
And you're forgetting that like everyone's the star of their own movie.
yeah, you're not.
Everyone
this isn't
you
just
encounter has a
you.
whole world of their
You
own.
don't know if like they have family members
There
that
you
are like
go.
that are sick.
Yeah.
You don't know if they
or if
cried
they just
this
have better
morning.
stuff to do.
That and everyone has lives. That's the
Yes,
other thing.
yes.
Everyone has
Everybody
lives.
has a life.
So you're throwing a fit.
Yes.
And we got like that sound guy's wife is pregnant
Come
and
on.
he's got it like,
Yes.
or he wants to watch the Clippers game.
yeah.
Go Clippers.
Yeah.
Like everyone has lives.
Yes.
And it's like
Yeah.
I think we miss that everyone has as many thoughts, for better, for worse, as you
anybody
do.
else. And as you do.
We all have
Yep.
that like we all have,
Yeah.
that's the guarantee is that your
Yeah.
thoughts are ongoing and
Yeah.
we're working to find
Exactly.
peace and silence.
I
Like
love that.
life is pain and we're working through
Yeah.
that. That's what's guaranteed is life is suffering.
I want to go back to Gaby and that scene where you added those lyrics in the moment about
Oh my
the
God, that
fighting.
sounds so annoying. I'm sorry, you
I'm
guys.
I was
It
a
is how
music
I
major.
see
I'm holding
it.
on to
Oh,
it.
were you?
So I think that everything that we hear is actually musical,
It
whether we
is.
think it is or not.
It is.
And the people I love to listen to the most, whether it's on a screen, in my ears, they get that it's always music.
Oh, all creating is all the same. Like,
Yes.
it's
Yes.
all the same.
Yes. You're orchestrating something.
100%.
And the way it hits your ear and the timing of it, it's all a note and
the
a beat.
food you taste when you watch
Yes.
people review food
Oh yeah.
and they're good. Like
Yes.
there's actually like a lot of bad food reviewers.
Oh yeah.
And you can tell, but when they're good and they
Yeah.
really care about food,
It's lyrical.
I'm tasting this and then I taste this and then you did this and I'm getting a hint of this.
Yes.
It's like,
Yeah. They're writing a song. They're writing a song.
100%.
Yes.
Yeah.
So thinking about that and you being able to go to these really nice white sad boys and say, I need to make this role a black woman's role. Trust me to do it. And they trust you to do it. There's that trust that they give you, which is great. But there's also a confidence you have to be able to even say that to the folks you're working with.
Oh.
Do you think that Jessica Williams was always there
No.
and able to,
No.
talk about that.
That's the thing about your 30s. I think if you're if you get in so your 20s are about taking information in and you grind. It matters. Like,
Yeah.
get your ass out there
Yeah.
and grind in whatever it is. That's
Yeah.
the time. You have more energy. You go
Sure
out at
do.
night. You don't get that hungover for a reason.
Yeah.
You need to go out and grind, okay? Or
Grind at work, grind on the man.
That's right.
Grind.
Yeah, grind on that.
Grind.
Grind on that person. Okay. We need to learn about our bodies ourselves. Okay. Okay. It's true. But like grind if you're writing, find that solitude and grind with the writing. Show up for yourself. Like, whatever you need. Meet people. Fill your tank. Like, don't just be there's like people that are obsessed with grinding only. And like the business of creation.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And they're like the podcast or the medium is about creating. And you're like, okay, but what did you make?
What did you want to make
Yeah,
and how
or
does
grinding.
it? Yes.
No, fill your tank. It's like really important to fill the tank, which means you need to go outside, look at things, meet people, or go on a meditative
And
retreat.
get out of your phone.
off your phone. Let the inspiration, lyrically annoying, I know,
I'm down with
fly
it.
to you. Like, let it smack you in the face so you
yeah.
don't know where it came from, but you have to be like available. Like, you have to be sitting. You have to be boring. You have to like do bits with your friends. You know, you want to do
Okay.
comedy
Yeah.
because you're going to do jokes and be like, oh, I like that style of humor. You're going to like
Yeah.
be loose. You're going to be like, your brain's a muscle.
Mm-hmm.
And so in my 20s, I got to work at The Daily Show, and Jon Stewart, great boss. Like, I always get really
I always
emotional
hear he's
talking about
great.
him.
I always hear he's great.
He's the best. And I love him. But one of the things that he did, because I was a baby when he hired, I was 22. Oh my
22.
gosh.
That's
You ever
wild.
look back 4
Oh my
years
God.
previous and go, I didn't know anything about anything.
Mm-hmm.
But at 22, you know, if I'm in this huge writer's room with people that are like Ivy League educated, people that are stand-ups, like seasoned stand-ups, you know, I would be like this, and John be like, do you have something you want to say?
Yeah.
He'd find me in the
I
room.
love that.
Be like, do you have
I
something to
love
say?
that.
If I did something, you know, we would go through every line, and he'd be like, do you feel comfortable saying this? Is that what you want to say?
That's great.
How do you feel comfortable? Or I'd be like, hey, can I talk to John? Like, there's a couple times I'd be like, I don't feel comfortable saying this, and I feel weird about it. And he'd be like, let's not do it. So I had this boss that
He encouraged your
and
feedback.
gave no notes. He also gave no notes.
That's cool.
So I've looked back at early sketches, and he let me bump my head, and that's like, I'm getting teary right now because
I love that.
I also just froze my eggs last week, and so I have a lot of estrogen.
A lot
and I'm
going
like,
on.
I'm nuts right now. I cried everything.
You see.
But he gave no notes, and I had just before that had like sketch comedy, like classic guys, like legends, like would give me notes after sketches at 20, 21, like
That's
mean
hard.
on email.
That's hard.
Mean
On email?
for comedy.
Screw
yes.
those guys.
Oh my gosh. Like
They wanted to be
outrageous,
mean.
outrageous
They wanted to
behavior,
be mean.
And I still have those voices in my head sometimes. That's like my mean censor voice, you know, my negative self. I can hear them sometimes, and I'm always working on it. But they would give me really mean notes. And I'm thinking now that I'm 35, like, and I was 20. You're a loser for that. Like, I would never talk to a 20-year-old in such a harsh tone. But John, you know.
Also, never write down feedback. Give it verbally.
No,
Give it verbally.
Oh my God. And sandwich,
It's
compliment
nicer.
sandwich, right?
Yeah.
Like, and I mean, really make it
Seriously.
a sandwich. Like, we're
Big
talking
bread.
big
Texas
bread.
toast.
I'm talking
Texas
carving
toast.
board.
Yes,
Like, I need
yes.
a nice sandwich.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So anyway, he gave me he just never gave me any notes in retrospect ever, you know, and I'm sure he had thoughts on, you know, this 22-year-old's performance, but I got to be raw. And
Which
like,
is good.
But he also like held me accountable for my words. Like, he put me in charge of my words. And so I left that job
with a certain
for better or
confidence.
for worse, being like, actually, in an interview, in anything, I'm actually really in control of what I say.
Yeah.
And I, you know, and even in podcasting, like, I did that for 5 years, and we did those live until, you know, we did the King's Theater at the end of our run, like 8 shows sold out. Like, that's like a big house, you know?
Yeah.
But I'm in control of what I say, and I'm not going to do it if I think it's ass, you know? Like, I'm obsessed with the phrase ass lately. Like, everyone's been saying ass on the internet, and I'm like obsessed with it. But if I feel like you say ass nice. Ass. But I'm not going to I want people to trust. I want to trust with my with the people that like my stuff.
Yeah.
On some level. And I'm going to do stuff that's bad. Like,
and that's allowed. I think for me, it's like, you know, thinking about how you were in these rooms with folks and saying, my experience as a Black woman, I'm bringing it to the table. Trust me on it. As a Black man, I'm not sure I was able or ready to do that well into my 30s.
Right. So
and I think
that's what.
Yeah.
So I was saying, like, your 20s you're learning that you can do that. You don't know that you can do that in your 20s. And if you do, that's like Gen Z, like, you know, do your thing. I know, bless. But millennials, like.
We were so just happy to be there.
Yeah. And in your 30s, you start not hanging out. You really don't hang out with people you don't want to, first of all. And that's awesome. Oh, yeah. You're probably a little more ahead in your career. So you now get to say, like, you know, keep going. Sorry to cut you off.
No,
but
this is what I want.
That was the point I was saying. Yeah. It's like, in your 30s, you begin to be like, I'm not going to do that.
And there's a certain efficiency.
Yeah.
I increasingly don't want to waste my time.
That's right. And you have to be fine with not taking the money.
Yeah.
Or you take the money and we understand you get that check.
Yeah.
You save up for that house that's hard to get.
There you go.
And we respect your flow. We respect that hustle.
Yes.
You know what? If you got to get up there. And that's why I feel too, like, sometimes people try and like retroactively critique like women of color that have had to play stereotypes. And that's the role they got. You know how the swords they had to fall
yes.
on? The swords.
Yes.
You know how they got treated?
Yes.
We better freaking treat these like 90s and 2000s actresses with all of the respect.
Because they went through so much.
For us.
And their asses were getting grabbed when the cameras were off,
That's
too.
right. That's right.
Like,
and
they went through it.
You know, and we're talking super, super, super premium, too. Like,
yes.
You put some respect on that name.
And in any of those roles, they still brought the heat.
Yeah. You know they're good.
They're good.
They had to do these dumbass parts because I couldn't imagine. Like, it's hard to get parts now as a black actress that's like not mixed, but like with
say
it.
Say it.
It should be said. I'm glad we casted black people, but we do have to look into colorism and we have to start talking about it because that's a different story. Anyway, shout out Love and Light to all my mixed sisters. You know I love y'all, but y'all know there's colorism.
It's
but anyway,
true.
they're all working. First of all, second of all, and I love you guys. You're my people too. Second of all, though, you know, we have to show them respect. Like, there's this thing that we have to critique online and look back and be like, and then she played this part, and that was problematic. It was like, girl,
she was trying to work.
She's trying to work.
This is why I will never hold a performance in a Tyler Perry vehicle against anyone.
No. Get your bag.
It's a gig.
Get your bag. And you probably learned something. If you're smart, you learn something. You watch Tyler Perry work, and you learned a lot. You learned. Like, everything's a learning experience. Wisdom is also being like, you can take away something from anybody. That's the key to chemistry. Like, I've done a few rom-coms and like chemistry and Shrinking is a show about chemistry. Like especially this season, our chemistry, you can mix and match all of our characters. The chemistry is insane. But I know for me, like, I love melody and lines and I like chemistry. It's like my favorite thing. But chemistry is finding the other person inherently interesting, truthfully. And even if they're a bit standoffish, like, they might know a lot about shoe shining, and then you care about shoe shining because that person lights up when they talk about shoe shining.
But you have to have a curiosity when you walk in.
You have to.
If
be
you
curious.
can't walk into a room curious, you shouldn't be in the room.
No, or you're a different kind of character. Like, you're playing, and that's fine. But for Gaby, like, playing her and just and Jessica.
Yeah.
If you meet me at a bar, we're gonna have a blast.
Okay. I love it. Are you a small talker?
I'm not small. I want to get to the. We'll get to the
heart
big
of it. Talker.
But the thing about everything I've done with The Daily Show and with Two Dope Queens and with Gaby and Love Life, like, women want to talk to me.
Really?
Yeah, they see me and I'm like a friendly lady. They want to buy me drinks, which I love. Thank you for the free drinks, every lady that's
Do you
ever
take the
got
free
me a
drinks?
Yes. Yeah. If I'm drinking, I will. I do.
Yeah.
But yeah, because it's nice. It's like, have you ever seen Friday Night Lights?
Oh yeah.
Coach always, when he walked into someone's house, he always took the drink. You want a slice of pie? Yes.
Yeah.
Do you want can I get you some lemonade? Coach is like, yes.
Yeah.
You know?
You must accept the gift and the spirit it's given.
Even if it's not good, you're like, yes, I'll take it.
One bite.
Yeah, one bite. Oh, I gotta go. Like, I gotta go meet. But I that quality, whatever that is, it has like a no name. You walk in someone's house and they offer you it, take it. You know, I like that. Whatever that is, I like that.
It's a kindness.
Is that what it is?
It's a kindness. Yeah.
It's also like American etiquette. It's like American formal. Like, we don't have like we don't have like English etiquette where it's like you stand when the queen or the woman
this is where the spoon goes and this is where the whatever.
We don't.
And this is our tea
I know
time.
that's a culture. And it's like debutante, and I get that.
Yeah.
But then there's like Southern, like, different kind of culture where it's like, you want the pie.
There's a hospitality.
Hospitality.
And the hospitality isn't just required. It is like the love language. And like, you have to understand, that crappy piece of cake they offered you, they spent all day making it.
Oh, yeah. Can I feed you is love.
Can I feed you?
I just got like teary too because of the estrogen. But can I feed you is like, and then a woman that's a millennial being like, can I get you like, can I get you a martini?
Yes.
Or like, can I get you this very silly, juicy cocktail? I'm like, that's love, dude.
My favorite, and I know you love me when you do this to me, text me when you get home.
Oh my God.
A warm blanket of a text.
A
warm blanket.
Oh my God, text me when you get home.
Text me when you get home.
How are you today?
Yes.
How
how's
are
your day
you is
going?
like, how's your day going? And you care?
Yeah. Look at us.
Look at us.
All right. Look at us.
Look at us go.
We are just latched.
Yeah.
I'm feeling so.
I'm gonna help you. I'm gonna help you row this boat. There's also
listen.
that. Like, when someone's helping in the conversation, like, I hate when you meet people and they're like not helping the conversation. They're like,
they're
cool.
Stone.
I hate cool.
No, I'm
Cool
in
is
it
tough.
with you.
You know,
Well,
cool.
yeah.
You know, cool when you see it,
Mhm,
right? You're like,
mhm.
oh, that's so and so, and they're in this
Mhm.
gallery, and you're like, hi, like I'm
Yeah,
Sam,
and they're
like
very
nice to
much
meet
so
you,
da,
and they're
da,
like,
da.
oh,
Yeah.
and you're like, oh, cool. I can't, like, I'm too sensitive for
No.
cool.
I've been the last several years have beat me down too much to be cool.
Really,
I'm just
you're
like,
so like haggard right now. You're like,
yeah,
please just
I'm
be
not
my
cool.
friend.
I'm tired.
Yeah, just be my
I'm
friend.
tired. Let's just have a drink. Let's just have a drink.
Let's keep the
Yes.
yeah. What do you like?
What do you like? And let's talk about it.
Yeah.
You get it.
Yeah.
You get it.
No, you get it.
I am wondering, we've talked a lot about this role, which has you working and functioning highly on several levels, but we've also talked about how The Daily Show and that work has really informed your craft ever since you did it. Which is harder, playing a therapist on TV or the Daily Show grind
Daily
that you're
Show. Daily Show in your 20s when you were learning about
Yeah.
comedy and you're
Yeah.
like bumping your head. You got to
And
get
it's
your licks.
daily?
You're still learning like in what's funny. And
Mm-hmm.
then I was like, they hire like seasons. They hired people older than me. I was the youngest correspondent to ever do that show.
Snaps.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah. Uh-huh.
Wicked.
Flip it. Flip
Wicked.
it. Flip
That's
it.
my Wicked.
Yes.
I was the youngest correspondent to ever do that, and so I was still learning. And that's
Yeah.
the other thing that's why I love John is like, if you hire me, you're gonna take a risk. I'm this 6 foot tall, size 14, size 11 foot, like weird, weird lady. It's like you're hiring. Like I'm wearing a Rachel Antonoff dress that's like, if you look closely, it's frog
gorgeous.
anatomy. It's like cut open frogs
Wait.
and their guts.
Tell me.
I know, it's crazy.
Oh, that's
but
like
I
the
love
legs
her.
spread open?
Yeah, it's the whole innards. Like it's frog innards. You can
Whoa.
get it. You can get it
Oh,
now.
I see the legs now.
Yeah, the sizing's great. Like she's funny. Anyway, I
love
like this.
It's a great dress.
But I'm weird. And you have to be like to find me,
Mm-hmm.
to hire me,
Mm-hmm.
you have to be like, wait,
Who's that? Where is she?
who is that? And
Mhm.
that's me. That's like
Yeah.
me. You
Yeah.
have to you're not like, if it's like the hot girl at the party, you're not gonna choose me. You're gonna choose like a hotter, cooler actress.
I'm just going to pause the camera
No,
right now and
it's-
say,
no, no,
you
no.
are
I
at
appreciate
this
it.
point the
I know,
hot girl
I
at
know,
the party.
but in a specific,
Yes,
it's a
yes,
different way.
yes,
Okay, I'm
yes.
talking about
Yes.
the white girls that just drop in and get like a Calvin Klein contract, or they're like at the Gucci. That's a
Mhm.
different person. Like they're like in
Mhm.
like every A24 movie. Like, you know what I mean? They're like modeling, right?
Yeah.
And they're hot. That's a
Mhm.
different thing
Yes.
than they're like a size 4. Great.
Yeah.
But for me, you have to be like,
Yeah.
oh,
Yeah.
huh.
Yeah.
And I remember when I was auditioning really early on in my
Mhm.
20s, before I got the Daily Show,
Mhm.
I remember one audition I did for like a comedy showcase.
Mhm.
And the guy who was casting it was like, okay. He looked at me and he was like, I can tell you're good, but I don't know where to put you.
Why would
And
you say
that's
that to your face?
Auditioning's hard, and it gives people mental illness. Like auditioning is hard. It's not normal. Auditioning is bad for actors because
Woo.
they forget that we're humans,
And
and
the
they
person
forget.
is right there.
Oh my God, casting is tough because there's no like nice requirement to be a casting director. There's no like.
They're probably rewarded
kind.
for being mean.
Yeah, and they get it. There's a power. They can get a power thing. So y'all need to check yourselves, casting directors, because some of y'all are mean.
Yeah.
And you're hurting people's feelings. And
Yeah.
like,
Don't
you-
hurt my friend's feelings.
Yeah, don't hurt my feelings. That's like
Don't.
actually getting my feelings hurt.
Yeah, we don't want
fuels
that.
most of my choices.
What's your sign?
I'm a Leo.
Me
son.
too, girl.
You are.
Don't hurt my feelings.
Oh my God, you know we're so
I'm
sensitive.
delicate.
We're like hangnail, like screaming.
Yes.
Like, I'm a Leo sun. I'm a Leo moon. I'm an
Okay.
Aries rising. So
Okay.
I'm like
Yeah.
all fire signs.
Yeah,
I'm very
so volatile.
sensitive.
I will cry
Yeah.
at a diapers commercial.
Yes, crybaby. You're a crybaby. Like Megan. Yeah. But
Yeah.
anyway, like it's just, it's brutal. And then
Mhm.
don't start with things online, And I'm like, I'm a size 14 when I'm comfortable. Like if
Mhm.
I'm like not focused on, exercising every single day, like beating myself up for not exercising. I'm eating like 60% healthy, 40% not.
Mhm.
I'm a size 14. And I was like looking yesterday because nobody sends sizing,
Oh yeah.
Nobody's gonna send sizing.
And it's
except
all
for
effed
several
up for women.
people.
Like,
Oh
what
my
is one
God.
size?
Especially for actors.
Yeah.
They're like, sorry, ugly. Like, sorry, you ugly bitch. Like, you're like, oh my God.
Wear it.
Guess you have no clothes. Like, yeah, it's like my stylist is like, she's a size 14. And they're like, we're going to send you a 6. And I'm like, well, you just wasted everyone's time. Anyway.
Yeah. Yeah.
Also that. Like,
Yeah.
come on, fashion. Like,
Yeah.
guys,
Do better.
there's a lot of people that are like joining, that are like doing it and sending
Mhm.
sizing. Hi, Rachel Antonoff.
Mhm.
But like, the average American woman size is 16.
There you go.
But still, to cast me, like
Yeah.
they have to,
They have to, yeah.
Everyone's hot on TV. Also,
There you go.
like, what are we looking at?
Yeah. They're going to make you hot on those cameras. The
What are
lights,
we-
the
yeah,
makeup, they're going to make you hot. Yeah.
When you turn on Netflix, actually, even when we're like, oh, like people are like, oh, that person's not that hot, and you're like,
No.
are you kidding? If you met that
Walk
guy,
down the street and then
if
look
you
at your
met that
TV.
person at a party and
Yeah.
they like smiled at you,
like,
like
oh my
you'd be
God.
like, oh my,
Oh my
am I in
God.
love? Like,
Yeah.
yeah, right, dude.
Yeah.
Actors are hot, and so it's like, I
Yeah,
don't know,
part of the
though,
job.
But I'm more in the category of other, and in your 30s, you just become like more okay with that.
Yeah.
Like life happens. Like
Yeah.
in my 20s, I was like, oh, I'm too other. Like, who am
Yeah.
I? Like, who am
Yeah.
I?
Yeah.
And in your 30s, it's like,
Oh,
oh,
yeah.
this is my lane. I'm gonna
Totally.
make money from my
Yeah.
lane.
I just turned 40,
Oh,
which
wow.
is like
Happy
a big.
birthday.
Thank
My
you.
Leo from like 6 months
I had
ago.
a little backyard party. It was super fun.
Yeah, 40's nice.
40 feels good, but I realized like one of the things that I've been moving towards this last decade is the kind of honesty and emotional honesty you really only start to cultivate when you get a little more tired because you have to be efficient. I have a lot less time to waste now than I did in my 20s, which means I have to be a lot more honest than I was with myself and with others, and I don't want to waste others' time.
That's right. That's evolution. I feel like that's the reason. Like,
Yeah.
they're like, oh, like you know, every, year that you get older, you get more tired.
Oh, yeah.
And it's like, yeah, because you're supposed to.
But
you're
the
getting less-
tiredness is good
Yes,
because it means that
you're
when I come to
efficient.
work, I'm like,
Mhm.
let's make a good show so
Yes.
everybody can go home.
Yes, and you're like respecting. You have
I
more
want to
sense
respect
of
this time.
this is a yes, this is a no, this is
Yes.
a yes, and
Boom,
everyone
boom,
can go
boom.
home and
Yes.
do their
Whereas
life.
in your 20s,
You're like,
you want to
"Ugh,
stay at the office
do you
all
like
night.
me? Like,
do you
yeah,
like me?
yeah,
What-
yeah.
How can I look like I've been here 25 hours?
Yes, but you're supposed to do that. Like
Yeah,
you
yeah.
this is how you find what you don't like and what you
Yeah.
do like. It's like really like biological design is incredible.
You're going
Like,
to change over time, and
oh
that's
my
the
God,
point.
it's
That's
like
the point.
It's like art. Like I froze my eggs because I had a break and
Mm.
I froze my eggs in October and November. So I did it back to back. It was my first time. I'm 35, and when you're 35,
Is that the time you got to?
it is. It's
Okay.
like they're like, wow, bitch, you are a mummy. Your reproductive system's a mummy. You're like, you're dust, dude. Like you're like, what? For better or for worse, if you don't want kids, you're like,
Yeah.
and I, for all of it, I don't right now, but I don't know how I'm a Leo, I don't know how I'm gonna
Yes.
feel. Like I might,
Yeah.
change
We
my mind, I might not.
Yes. And it's
So
always
anyway-
cute when we change.
Yeah, I'm like, I'm
Yeah.
cute because I'm a Leo. I'm
Yeah.
changed. I have multitudes.
Yeah.
So anyway, for women that I have endometriosis, which is this disease that people don't know a lot about, and I think like 3 in 10 women have it.
Oh, wow.
And it goes undiagnosed because it's a women's issue, but it's like
Mhm.
when you grow tissue outside of your uterus, and Black women are prone to fibroids. So
Huh.
now we're talking about women's health.
Yeah.
And we're prone to
Love it.
endometriosis too.
Yeah.
Amongst other things. So make sure you Black women, my beep beep beep. Hi, my sisters, 2024 to 2028. I'm looking after you. So Black women, like make sure we're like checking on our fibroids and stuff, okay?
Mhm.
And so anyway, it was really important for me to do it, and I'd been
Yeah.
meaning to do it for years. And
Yeah.
every year that you don't do it, like you're
You lose a few or something.
they're like you're like dying, you're dead. You're a bag of bones. And so anyway, so I needed to do it because we had the business is slow right now, and we had a 6-month break between the last season of Shrinking, and we start next month. We start shooting Shrinking. So I was like, all right, I guess I'm gonna do this adult thing.
Mhm.
But we are miracles because it's really hard. It's like it's really hard to make a baby. Like it's really hard for everything to go right
Yeah.
and to have 10 toes and 10 fingers and to make sure the spine is developed and that the embryo takes and like so many things and that the egg is mature. Like
Mhm.
it's like biological design and science
It's
is
wild, yo.
amazing.
Mhm.
Like we're miracle. It's like amazing.
Yeah.
It's really special. And so
Yeah.
I didn't know anything about how my body worked until 2 months ago. and if you're me, like a Leo, it's like if I'm redecorating my house, it's my whole personality. If I'm
Oh, yeah.
freezing my eggs, it's my whole personality. Like it's been my personality.
What does it look
It's
like?
who I am as a person.
Yes.
You
What
only
did that
care about
look like?
shots. Like you care about shots. Like you
Yeah.
have to do your shots at a certain time. It's really hard. It's really expensive.
Mm.
It's really expensive, and it's not guaranteed. Like, so you're like,
That's
wow,
crazy.
this is
You
sucking ass.
spent all
right
this
now.
money, took
Yeah.
all the shots, and
Yeah.
it still might not work.
Yeah, it's amazing. Science is amazing, but it's ass. Like it's really a lot.
Yeah.
And then you get all this estrogen, and you're doing all these hormones. So you're like weeping. Like
Really?
I watched Daughters, that documentary about this program that sets up Black women on a father-daughter dance in with their fathers that are in
I've
prison.
heard about that one, and I won't watch it yet because
It's like the Inside Out
Waterworks.
2. It's Inside Out 2.
It's Inside
but
Out
I
2.
needed it because my estrogen was so high.
You had to
I
have
was
a
like,
release.
I was having cravings. I was like, you know what?
It's time.
We about to watch Daughters, and it was incredible. It's
Yeah.
amazing. It's an incredible documentary.
Yeah.
But you're like weeping.
weeping.
Oh, please watch it.
Okay, I will.
Highly recommend. They did such a good job. I think Kerry Washington produced that too, and it's like, oh,
Love
mwah,
her.
Kerry,
Boss.
mwah.
Boss.
So anyway, yeah, but I needed to weep. But it was my personality. I didn't go out, no drinking, no anything, because you don't waste your money.
Really?
You're like, it's
Yeah.
like you can't really exercise,
Oh,
it's
damn.
like it's like anyway.
That's
So
a lot.
yeah, but it was a lot.
How do you think that experience might influence your acting?
Yeah, that's nice. I woke up like from my second retrieval because it's great. Retrieval's great, dude. They just
Retrieval.
put you
Such a
under.
clinical word.
My retrieval. I know, I'm annoying. It's my personality.
No, but
like,
that's what they call it.
It is,
That's
but
what they call
it's
it.
a little annoying. But no, they put you under. Like, surgery's easy. It's the lead up and the recovery that's the most
Yeah.
anxious. Like, if
Yeah.
you have to get surgery, the easy part is going under, you know? So I went under. You wake up and they tell you how many eggs you got. And when I woke up the second time, because I had a goal of how many eggs I wanted, because
How many did
I'm
you want to
a
get?
modern-
You're
I wanted
Leo.
30. I wanted 30 by 30.
That
36.
sounds like a lot. I
My
don't
goal
know.
was 30 by 36, and my IVF
30
doctor
eggs
was
by
like,
36.
Yeah. Yeah. And
Okay.
mature eggs, like good mature eggs. And my
Alright.
IVF doctor was like, "Ugh, okay, whatever. I
Yeah.
was like, you mean like 35 by 30? Like, I love homework. Like, I love a
Yeah.
mantra.
Yeah.
And so when I woke up with the amount that I got, I was really happy with it both times because I have because of my endo, it's like a little trickier.
Yeah.
And so I felt as a woman who works and I love my job and I
Mhm.
never dreamed about being married. I never dreamed about being a housewife. I never
Okay.
dreamed about having kids ever. Like,
Okay.
I dreamed about acceptance speeches. Like I dreamed
Yeah.
about,
Yeah.
those things.
Good Leo things.
Leo things.
On a stage
100%.
talking to people.
Yeah. Yeah. And I never, that was my goal.
Yeah.
And, you get older and things change. But for me, I woke up with relief. I was like, oh, I didn't realize that I had this thing in the back
That
of my mind
pressure.
with the endometriosis of like, hey, what are you going to do? What are you going
Yeah.
to do about that? If
Yeah.
you want kids,
Mhm.
the thing is with women's bodies is not, the uterus doesn't really age, but the eggs do. That's the
Huh.
amazing thing. I know. So you can
Okay.
carry if in theory,
Huh.
nothing's guaranteed, but you can carry in your 40s, but
Yeah.
your eggs are not the same. So you want to get the eggs now. And
you
then
can carry.
100%.
Pull a Michelle.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah,
Yeah.
or anyone. I mean, a lot of
Yeah.
people, like, as they should be, are really private about it. And I
Yeah.
probably will after this. I'm probably never going to talk about this ever again. I have not talked about it at all in anything
Well,
else.
thank you for sharing.
No problem. It's like
Yeah.
nobody's business. But it is like, I want people to hear it, whether you're
Yeah.
a woman or not,
Yeah.
you're trans, you want to do
Yeah.
like,
Well, and it's good for men to hear this too.
totally.
I think
Oh my
men don't
God.
understand.
Oh my God. When
I say
the
this as a
men-
man.
Yeah.
We just don't like.
But a lot do. Like,
Okay.
I have been so like filled with love of the
Hmm.
men in my life that I've told that
Yeah.
I've gotten. I'm gonna be like, oh my God, my ex-girlfriend. I did that with my ex-girlfriend.
Aw.
Or they've been like, oh my God, my friend did that. And
Yeah.
and they go, how are you doing? And they
Yeah.
get it. So
That's
it's like,
cool.
that's nice too. That's
Yeah.
just showing up as being like, how are you today? How is it?
Mhm.
And like really caring about it.
Mhm.
And you're like,
Yeah.
oh, like that.
is
I
nice.
feel that. I felt
There
that
are
in
good
my
men
chest.
around. Not all.
Lots.
Not
Lots.
most. But there are
Certainly
lots.
no, but lots of
Yeah.
really, gorgeous
Yeah.
ones.
Hearing you talk about playing a teacher
Mm.
on TV, playing a therapist
Mm.
on TV, filling these nurturing roles on screen, is there ever a real life scenario in which Jessica Williams becomes a therapist?
Yeah, yeah. And that was my 20s, was like being friends, and I put it in quotes if
Yeah.
you're listening,
Yeah.
like with people that would just take the energy
Mhm.
in it for better or for worse, because I'm going to try and connect with you inherently, okay?
Yeah.
Like I'm going to try to
Yeah.
like meet you where you are.
Yeah.
That's just I've always been like that,
Mhm.
'cause that's just who I am.
Yeah.
And in my 30s I've accepted that. But I would then attract like people that needed things or would just tell me, stuff and talk at me.
Mm-hmm.
And then getting in my 30s was being like, oh, okay, that's not serving
You
me.
can't just trauma dump on me all
Yeah,
the time.
no. And then also, I don't get advice. Like all of my close friends, for the most part, do therapy, or they're really thoughtful people and they're doing
Mhm.
the work however they need to do the work.
Mhm.
Like they go on walks or they hike or,
Mm-hmm.
whatever their higher power is, or if it's I trust their brain and their process for some reason. Those
Mhm.
are the only people that I ask for advice. And then I save it for my therapist because
Mm.
then I can just enjoy my friends. I don't
Yeah.
need them to talk to me about, work through, this guy with me or work
Mhm.
through like, and especially in my 20s, like working through this guy or like, whatever.
Mhm.
I don't need them to do that.
Yeah.
We can
paying somebody for
kiki.
that.
Like now we
Yeah.
can just like kick it and get drunk
Exactly.
and just be silly and talk
Yeah.
about guy.
Yeah.
But I don't need them to
Yeah.
like do that heavy lifting
Yeah.
of the CBT of my brain.
Yeah.
I have someone I
You
pay
have
for
someone you
that.
pay. What
Yeah.
kind of therapist would you be?
What kind?
What kind of therapist would you be? What
That's
would
a
your
great
energy be?
question. Sense of play. I like silly.
Yeah.
Um,
So you'd be the therapist with like the little games in the office.
maybe. Yeah,
I
but in the
like
waiting
that.
room.
I like that.
I would have color for sure. I
Okay.
want warmth, and I
Okay.
want you to know, like, you're safe here. That would be the most important thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah.
Listen.
I'd have a
would
little mini fridge, I think, like a little like snacks.
open
That
your
feels safe.
practice so I can pay you.
I know, right? Well,
This
when
sounds
you go to a
delightful.
bathroom at a place and they've
Uh-huh.
got like tampon. Well, no, in the women's bathrooms, that's the thing. You
Yeah.
probably don't.
Or if they
whatever
have
bathroom you
lotion,
use.
it's like, oh, you
Lotion,
respect diversity.
yes, you can tell. Like I like when I go in an office and there's
Mhm.
probably like I would imagine at this place there's that where it's like, do you need a tampon? Like, do you
Yeah.
need like that?
They're gonna take
I
care of
like
you.
office kitchens where there's like
Yeah.
cereals and like I
Mhm.
like that's cozy to me.
Mm-hmm.
So I would want something similar to that at the
Okay.
practice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We've come to the point of the show where we try to play a little game with our guest.
Great.
It's quick. It's easy. This one is kind of created to speak to your work on shrinking. We love you as Gaby, as a therapist on that show. And I want to play a game called Is That Self-Care?
Oh, okay.
And I'm going to name some things that some people say is self-care and therapeutic for them, but not everyone thinks it's therapeutic.
That's
You
funny.
tell me if it's self-care for you or not.
For me then.
For you.
Because I'm like self-care is whatever someone
yeah.
decides self-care
So this
is.
is more to explore you.
Okay, great.
Is this thing self-care
me.
for you or not?
Perfect. I love
All
it.
right. Hiking. Is that self-care?
Yeah. I recently like got into the idea of hiking.
You got into the idea
Yeah,
of
and to
hiking.
be in that idea, something's blooming. Like I've
Okay.
recently been looking up I like joinalltrails.com and I'm like,
yeah.
oh,
All right.
okay.
Sounds
Like I
good.
live in Eagle Rock, so I was like, I want to
Yeah,
like
it's out there. It's
I
out
want to
there.
get I like it. I like
Okay.
it's like the LA of it all. But if I grew up here, I wasn't hiking in the South Bay. Like I don't know if
Yeah,
LA.
no.
I think LA transplants hike.
Yeah.
I don't know if people born and raised in LA.
They're
are
not doing that.
hiking.
No.
Like, was Kendrick
Yeah.
hiking as a kid? Like, I don't know. Especially if he was south of the 10.
Yeah, he wasn't doing
We
that.
wasn't hiking.
He wasn't doing
like
that.
we
yeah.
wasn't hiking.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
Bubble baths. Is that self-care?
No.
Right?
So I
Too many
only
moving
in a
parts.
hotel. Only in a hotel.
Yeah.
And it's like a claw foot. It's like a
Yeah.
claw foot.
As soon as I get in a bathtub, I feel the need to get out.
Yeah. I
The
don't like it
water's
as much
getting
as,
cold.
Yeah.
Not enough bubbles. What's
Yeah.
happening?
Yeah.
Okay.
I want to be like a Margot Tenenbaum bathtub person. Like that was like
Yeah.
my fantasy. It was like, I'm
Yeah.
like, I'm like, oh, I have a cool look, and I'm like
Mhm.
watching the TV in the bath, and
I
I'm
know.
like
I'm not
having
a
a
bath.
vape. Is that a vape? I don't know.
Okay.
In 2024, but like I wanted to do
It's
that,
not me.
but it's like not me. It's like
I know.
weed, where I'm like, oh, I wish I was a weed person so bad, but I just can't.
Give it time.
Thank you. That's so sweet. Yeah.
Yoga. Is that self-care?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, I do
It
like
just
it.
works. It's just good.
Yeah. A rage room. Is that self-care for Jessica
Yes.
Williams?
Yes.
I've never done one. I'm scared to do one because I think I might
You'll
unleash
unleash
too
for
much.
sure. It's possible. You might cry. It's possible. I think I would too.
Crying while beating something up. Oh God.
We have every right to
Okay.
feel rage.
Okay. Journaling. Is that self-care for you?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Never
That's
done
750
it.
words a day. That's like the
Oh, you're
key. That's
good.
the thing.
Okay. Mood boards.
Yes, absolutely.
Meditation.
Pinterest. Yes. Yes.
Okay. Bird watching.
Sure. I'll do anything once. I think Harrison Ford bird watches, and I'll try anything once. Remember the blackbird watcher that got really famous in New York
Yeah.
City? Like,
Yeah.
oh, yeah.
I
I
like
was like,
that.
he's there. He's a brother
Yeah.
doing it. Yeah, I'll
Yeah,
try
yeah.
it. Yeah.
Cold plunges.
Yeah. I like it.
I
It
actually
works.
like them too.
I like it. It works.
I didn't want to
It
do it
works,
because
yeah.
the guys you would see online doing it
I
seemed
know. It's
douchey.
tough. It's tough.
But then I did it. I was like, oh, this is great.
Can I tell you a really funny story?
Tell me.
I have a baby blue Jeep. It's
Yeah.
awesome.
I
I'm
love.
obsessed with it. It's
Yeah.
great. And I was driving down Sunset in my new Jeep.
Mhm.
Driving down Sunset.
So
10,
LA.
10 a.m.
So
I
LA.
know. And
Yeah.
I'm never over there. I'm never over there because I live on the east side.
Yeah.
Driving through LA on Sunset, my new Jeep.
Yeah.
I look, and it's a big street, wide street.
Mm-hmm.
I look to my left,
Mm-hmm.
and I see Daniel Kaluuya get out of the car. And I
Ah.
love Daniel.
Yeah.
And I was like, I roll down my window because he's on the opposite side of the street. And I go, Daniel! And he goes, hey, oi, mate, hey, mate. And I was like, hi. And he was like, I love your car. And I was like, thank you. And then I was like, where are you going? And he said, I'm going to a cold plunge. And I was like, I love that for you. And then he said, you look good, mate. And I was like, thank you. And then he goes, you look strong. And then the
Hell
light
yeah.
changed. And I was like, bye. And that was the
That's
exchange.
perfect.
But it was
That's
perfect.
perfect.
But he was on his way to a cold plunge at like 10 a.m.
I
I,
love
haven't
that.
spoken to him since then. And that was like a year ago. But he was like, you look good, mate.
Fuck
You look
yeah.
strong. So we just sent each other love on like across
Aw.
this massive. We had to be like,
Black joy
winning. It
across
was awesome.
sunset.
It was awesome.
We
So
love
that was
it.
really cool.
We love it.
I got interested in cold plunges after that.
Okay. Yeah. Knitting or crocheting? Is that
Crocheting.
self-care for you?
Mhm.
Okay.
I learned how to crochet when I was a kid with my mom
I love that.
at the back of a Joanne fabric store.
I love that.
Yeah.
Drinking water from an emotional support water bottle.
Yes,
Something your
self-care. I do it
character
at work.
does.
I get to do it. I drink a lot of
Was
water.
that you in the show? Because
No,
Gabby, your
that was one of our
character
that was one of
okay.
our writers, Annie Mabane, in the writers' room. She was just bringing this huge water bottle before the show started, and they were like, "This character has to carry a huge water bottle."
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. Well, listen, I gotta say, this was a very grounding conversation.
Really?
Oh my
That's
god!
nice.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All of the energy you brought to the room was great. All of the like masterclass on like acting and how you do it was
That's
illuminating. I really enjoyed it.
Thank you.
Um,
You're a great interviewer.
I'm just happy to
Really,
be
I'm
here.
not just giving
Oh my
gas.
goodness.
If you weren't, I'd be like, "Thank you so much," and then I just like let you do the outro.
It's like what I see when I see an ugly baby. I'll go,
Oh my
what a
God.
cute
It's a
outfit.
baby. Yeah.
"What a cute outfit!
That's a baby.
That's a baby.
That's a baby.
That is a baby."
Yeah, cool.
Well,
I get it.
this was a pretty baby.
Oh yeah.
This was
Thank
so
you.
much fun.
Thank you so much.
Everybody watching, listening, go watch Shrinking right now. It is it goes down easy and it's soothing.
Oh, good.
I like
I
this
like
show.
the idea of it being a cozy show.
It's a cozy
It's
show.
nice. And
It's
our
a
last
cozy show.
episode's like Christmas Eve. So
There we go.
yeah,
Perfect for
enjoy.
this time
Thank
of
you.
year.
Yeah, thank you for your time. I appreciate it.
Jessica Williams, thank you for everything you do and for being here
Thank you.
for this chat.
Thank you.
Come back anytime.
Thank you.
Anytime. Bring that blue Jeep down here whenever
I
you
will.
want.
Beep beep.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank y'all. Bye.